Hi friends, welcome to Grade B. We are back with yet another important lecture on the current affairs series that we are running in our YouTube channel, and this is regarding the PIB news. So I hope you have watched one of the more video for the particular same time period which covers financial and other news. So this particular video will have PIB from 1st to 10th of Feb. Okay, so let's begin. So first news article is guidelines and standard for charging infrastructure for electric vehicle. Right. So you should be able to connect the news. For example, you are reading all this news because India has committed in COP26 that by 2030 it will reduce the carbon emission, and also by 2070 it will be carbon neutral country. Right. So whenever you read something related to green energy, you should be able to correlate. Okay. So which ministry is concerned? It's by the Ministry of Power has issued revised consolidated guidelines and standard for charging infrastructure for electric vehicles. Now this is very important in terms of sales of electric vehicle. For example, you want to buy a car. Okay. Obviously, looking at the current price of petrol and diesel, you would consider electric vehicle, which is way cheaper, 1/10 the cost. So maybe the cost of equipment, means cost of car, is on the higher side, but on the other hand, the cost of running down the line would be 1/10 of petrol or diesel. So considering this thing, you would obviously want to buy electric vehicle, but on the other hand, you would also think about the charging station, right? So whenever you are your own city, you will have no problem. But when you want to take that car and go somewhere out of your city, you will be concerned because you would not find enough charging stations, right? Enough or no charging station to be precise. So in that case, right, the sales of the vehicle will be very much limited. So the Ministry of Power, if you want to transform from petrol diesel to electric, then the only way is to do is electric charging stations, right? For example, when we go out, we do not bother about कि मेरे को fuel मिलेगा कि नहीं, because at every corner of the country we will find petrol pumps. Whereas when it comes to charging station, you would not find the same. Even it is very hard to find in the metros. That's a big challenge for this transformation from petrol diesel to clean energy like electric vehicle. So this is regarding that. Okay, what's the objective? To enable a faster adoption of electric vehicle in India by ensuring safe, reliable, accessible, and affordable charging infrastructure and ecosystem. Right. So the same thing that I have explained with an example. So these are the key features. Any individual entity is free to set up public charging station without the requirement of license, provided that such a station meet the technical, safety as well as performance standard. Okay, then electric vehicle owners can charge their vehicle at their residence or office using their existing electric connection. So you can read through it and you will find all the details. This is the line that would be important one. Land available with government shall be provided for installation of public charging station to a government on revenue sharing basis at a fixed rate of 1 rupees 1 kilowatt used for charging initially for a period of 10 years. Right? So this is very good scheme for monetizing those land which is of government land but is of no use for the past decades. Okay, maybe 2-3 decades. Obviously, in metros, in suburbans, and also in tier 2, tier 3 city, you will find many land. Okay, many defense land, any other departmental railway land. You will find they are at the proper place of the city, but they are idle, no use. Okay, so they can monetize. Government can monetize. So that this is a very good initiative. Okay, so with this, let's move forward. Contribution of agriculture export in gross domestic product. Okay, so this is a data, and this is very important data because you may not find directly MCQ in the question related to this kind of data, but obviously this will certainly help in your descriptive. For example, The value of agri export of principal agri commodities was rupees 2,52,972 crore equivalent, which was 1.2% of GDP at current price. So this is very, very important. Now, despite COVID-19 pandemic, there has been 22.8% growth in agri export with a share of 1.6% to GDP in 2020-21. Right? Very important point. Now, what has led to increase? These are some of the schemes. Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana, PM formalization of micro food processing enterprise scheme, then Agri Infrastructure Fund under the aegis of Department of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare. So there is a fund, Agri Infrastructure Fund, right? Rupees 1 lakh crore. Now, Mission for Integrated Development of Horticulture Crops, then post-harvest tool in India. Now, as per the study conducted by ICR CIPHT Ludhiana, the harvest of the post losses are this. Obviously, all this data, it's very hard to remember, but you don't have to remember it, just go through it so that you have a basic sense of it, right? Because that basic sense is required to answer a question swiftly. That's it. Now, India and Australia plan to finalize the interim trade agreement in next 30 days. India and Australia have announced that they are set to conclude an interim trade agreement in March and a comprehensive economic cooperation agreement CEAC 12 to 18 months thereafter. Okay. Interim early harvest trade. So an interim or early harvest trade agreement is used to liberalize tariffs on the trade of certain goods between two countries or trading blocs before a comprehensive FTA, free trade agreement, is concluded, right? So you can go through it, you will find many important data here. For example, bilateral trade between the two countries stood at 1.25 billion in financial year 21. Okay, and in financial year 22, which is ongoing, which would be concluded on 31st March 2022, okay, it's 17.7 billion in the first 10th month of financial year 22, right? So key import from Australia, what are the key things that we import? Coal, gold, LNG, while the key export from India include diesel, petrol, gems and jewelry. So gems and jewelry is the one thing that we export to almost all the countries. Right? Then opportunities for both country. This is something you should go through it 2 or 3 times. That would be fine. Right? See, specifically, there would not be any question directly related to Australia because we are not giving UPSC. We are preparing for RBI grade B. So there won't be any direct question. But yes, when it comes to generic question, now you may not remember the data with all the countries, right? Data with all the countries. For example, our relation with China, our relation with Sri Lanka, our relation with Nepal. Okay, so these are the very important things which you should remember, and obviously you will remember it. But when it comes to the larger picture, our relation with Russia, our relation with America, our relation with Australia, our relationship with France, our relationship with other European countries, our relationship with UK. So you don't have to remember all the things, but yes, certainly if anything is related to agriculture, anything is related to clean energy, anything is related to economy or specifically banking, technology, finance, anything like that, then you should remember. Because in examination directly, there won't be any question like you have to write something about US, Australia or something. But if there is a question about, international relation, then that would be generic. And even if you want to answer generic, nobody expects you to write all the relationships of India with other countries. If for an example you mention, if you remember this, just write about Australia, a paragraph, just write about Sri Lanka. Recently we have given loan to Sri Lanka, so which you already know from the last current affair video. So all these things will help you write the answer, and that is what we are focusing to our current affair material. So it's an holistic thing that we are doing. It's not like a current affair. देखो current affair is very small thing, right? वो एक line का होता है current affair, but it is we are helping you in a larger context to develop a personality. So that is how we bring out to you the current affair. Now see effects of Quad. So recently there was a Quad meeting. So do mention in the comment section. Okay, so not required because it's already written. India, Australia, US and Japan. So this were the 4 countries which has dubbed as new Quad. Initially there was a group of another Quad, right? So yeah, so see this Quad is basically to counter China. Okay, because if you see the locations of India, Australia, obviously US will be everywhere as a world leader, and Japan. Okay, if you see Australia is close to South China Sea, India is also close, Japan the Pacific region. Yes, so this country along with the US, they want to counter China, and that's the reason this squad was formed. The basic and the first thing for this squad was then export of IT industry and services, right? So there is nothing much in this, but yes, certainly it's again the same thing. You should go through it at least 2 to 3 times so that you have a basic sense of it. That's it. Let's quickly move and let's see FDI inflows in the country. So during the financial year 21-22 up to November 2021, FDI inflows were worth USD 54.10 billion. Right? It's 54.10 billion. Now, let's move forward. You can see all the data here. Now, export of organic food grains. Again, you should go through it 2 to 3 times. That would be enough. Okay. But yes, you should know the schemes related to it. Paramparagat Kishi Vikas Yojana, Mission Organic Value Chain Development for Northeastern region since 2026. So you should know the, see, if you see a positive side on the export of organic food grain, obviously that will not happen on its own. There has to be some, policy change, and that has led to that extra export. So now that comes through the government scheme, which you should know. Okay. Then Prime Minister's 15-point program for minorities. Then which ministry is implementing this? Minority Fair Ministry. The ministry is implementing PM's new 15 program for welfare of minority communities. Okay, what is the aim? To ensure that the underprivileged and weaker section of 6 centrally notified minorities communities have equal opportunities of availing the various government welfare scheme and contribute to the social economic development of the country. Then let's move forward with the next news article. So see, there are multiple schemes as well. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana helps. National Minority Development Finance Corporation Loan Scheme helps. Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram helps. Okay, so in all these schemes together helps the minority sectors go. Training program for rural women. So there are multiple training programs. Rashtriya Gokul Mission, Dairy Processing and Infrastructure Development Fund. So I think all this, detailed video, you will find it in one of our video in the YouTube channel. So I think there is a specific video on the, animal husbandry and dairy sector. So in those videos, you would find all the details here. So just go ahead and find the video. That would be enough. Conserving marine resources. Okay. So Government of India has already taken several measures. So what are those measures? The Wildlife Protection Act of India 1972, the National Committee on Mangroves, the Coastal Regulation Zone CRZ Notification 1991 and later version, Biodiversity Act of India 2002 and Biological Diversity Rules 2004. Okay. Then two of the key objectives of this scheme are harnessing of fisheries potential in a sustainable, responsible, inclusive and equitable manner, robust fisheries management and regulatory framework. Then the ongoing R&D project on hydrogen and fuel cell. So you can go through this. Wait, what has happened? Okay, just just go through it, that would be enough, right? Because this is not particularly directly related to your syllabus, but yes, if you see green energy, then it's related and you should know environment, right? So these are the initiative taken by the government. Then socio-economic and educational advancement made by Muslim. The enrollment of minority student in the school has increased from 1516 to increased to 4 2020, and in case of Muslim student it's 3 2015-16 to 2021 as per UDIS plus. Okay, so these are the educational empowerment scheme that is helping out. Pre-metric scholarship scheme and post-metric scholarship scheme. Maulana Azad National Fellowship Scheme, Naya Savera, Paro Pradesh, Naya Uran. Okay, Sikho or Kamao Ustad, upgrading the skill and training in traditional art craft for development. Okay, so using this, Hunar Hats are organized throughout the country where the artisans come and show their skills. Then Nazi Manzil Nayi Roshni. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, which we have already seen in the past. Then with this, let's move forward. Center takes measure for comprehensive and continued development of industry. Okay, now what are the steps taken for the auto sector? So PLI scheme. So in the automotive value chain, budgetary outlay is 25,938 crore over a period of 5 years. Okay, so these are the some of the scheme in budget 2021-22 scheme to support augmentation of public transport with a total of rupees 18,000 crore. Okay, now a step taken to encourage ethanol, flex engine, CNG, LPG, green hydrogen and electric vehicle. Okay, so it's the PLI scheme that will lead every front. A step taken for adoption of electric vehicle, right? So GST on electric vehicle has been reduced from 12% to 5%. GST on charging station for the electric vehicle has been reduced from 18 to 5%. Okay, then so you should know all this data. Now, steps taken by NCPCR regarding child marriage during the last 5 years. What is NCPCR? It's National Commission for Protection of Child Rights. Okay, so these are the schemes, or these are the steps taken to prevent. Then, recommendation of National Commission denotified nomadic and semi-nomadic tribes. So, yes, so these are the separate, these are the points that we have marked in red. You should go through it. Okay, and yeah, when you go through it, keep in mind these are important points for your descriptive, not for your MCQ or objective type. Obviously, we cannot deny the fact there cannot be any MCQ. There can be MCQ as well, but yes, most likely it will be for your descriptive. Then steps taken for water conservation. So these are the various steps taken for the water conservation. National water policy, Manrega, and all these things, right? And this is very important. So all these steps you should go through it. Rehabilitation of manual scavengers. The major legislative and programmatic intervention has been undertaken by the government, like Prohibition of Employment as Manual Excavation and the Rehabilitation Act 2013, okay, which has come into force from 6/12/2013 in all states and UTs. So you should go through it. So with this, we have come to the end of the current affairs. But our current affairs material also have what are the steps taken by the government for pharmaceutical and medical sector, right? Very, very important point. So we have pointed out all the important points here. So in every current affair material, you will find at least 1 to 2 questions that you can practice. Okay, then what are the steps taken by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs to market the tribal products? So you can find all the details in our answer, right? Next question is, give an overview of support to women entrepreneurs and MSME during COVID-19 by Government of India. So everything is on points. Everything is on point. So it's not like, we are helping you in write a good answer. No, we are giving you the data which can make your answer stand out. Okay. And rest, how to write a beautiful answer, we have already separate video in our YouTube channel. Please go ahead and watch that. And if you have any doubts regarding it, you can mention it in the comment section. We will certainly help you out. Okay, discuss the benefits of OROP schemes. So obviously, this is one of the hot topic because court has also, given some comments regarding OROP very recently. Now, with this, we have come to the end, and as you all know, that we do cover news in short and one lines as well, which you will find in end of our material. So just go through it. These are also very important, but we have kept it in the form of one liner. Okay, with this we have come to the end of this lecture. We wish you very good luck from Team Grade B. Happy and thank you learning.